Namaskar. Why sometimes do bad things happen to good people? Now, the opposite's also true. I had a wonderful surprise recently. I came back from the park and I saw a message, and I was just kind of thinking to skip it, go and do meditation. But it attracted my eye and I read it, and to my surprise, it was an invitation to a concert with Snuntum Kaur, which was going to happen in an hour. And she's one of my favorite musicians. I couldn't believe it. So this person had free ticket just for me. She was out of the country, couldn't find somebody else to take it. And she asked me if I would like to have it. And I was so grateful. And she was saying, yes, good things happen to good people. And that got me thinking, no, because in those moments, we don't question it. No, we're quite happy to receive some unexpected grace, some miraculous event like that. It's even easy to take it for granted. But when bad things happen, that's when we kind of start this, why me? Why do you keep doing this to me? What did I do wrong to deserve this? It's a natural tendency. And I remember being alongside one of my really good friends here in Romania, and she was dying of cancer. And the neighbors were there and they were just saying she was such a good person. She's always helping everybody. Why does it happen to her? And so, this question comes why do these seemingly bad things happen to good people? I want to start with a story though first. So once there was Narayan, who represents sort of God-realized being, and he's taking a walk with his good disciple, Narada. And as they walk through the village, they get to this house of a very simple house, a poor house, where there's an old lady. And she has nothing, but she's so devoted. The only thing that she has that she cares about is her cow. And she's really proud to be able to serve them with a wonderful, creamy, fresh glass of milk. And they accept it with gratitude and are very touched by her sweet and pure devotion. They leave the house, and as they're walking along the road, Narayan says to Narada, tomorrow her cow is going to die. And Narayan's a bit surprised, for such a lovely, pure, devoted disciple. Why would he give her such a punishment? The cow's the only thing she has. But anyway, he doesn't say anything. And they go forward and they keep moving along the road, and they come to the gate of a very wealthy man, very materialistic man. And the man invites them inside to have a beautiful banquet. He's prepared all kinds of delicacies, but it's really transparently obvious that he's doing this all, in the hopes of impressing Narayan, in the hopes of receiving some kind of divine blessing or grace. And they leave the house, they thank them, and as they're walking along the road, now Narayan says to Narada, tomorrow this man's wealth, it will be doubled. Now, Narada really can't understand what's going on. He's like, what kind of guru is this? The person who loves you devotedly, single-mindedly? No, you're going to take away her one possession, the cow. And this guy who's so materialistic, it's so obvious that he just has a selfish intention even for doing this. Anyone can see it. And you're going to reward him by doubling his wealth? I really don't understand. You've got to explain this to me. And so then Narayan explains it. And he says, this woman, she is so close to me. She's so close to enlightenment and to complete surrender and trust in God. However, her one last attachment, her one last impediment is the cow. On the other hand, this materialistic, wealthy businessman, he's got a long way to go. And it's better that he just exhausts all of this desires he has for material wealth as quickly as possible, because the quicker that he can just consume it, get it out of his system, then he'll realize that there's more to life. And so I'm accelerating his progress. So this just shows us that the logic of how that divine consciousness that is that is helping us to evolve spiritually works is not according to the same kind of logic that we would like it to have from our limited point of view, you know? It's like the only thing that really matters for the Supreme Consciousness is your freedom, your ultimate freedom, your enlightenment, your ability to be free of all obstacles. And to do that, it's a little bit like almost merciless. Is willing to see, you go through different types of difficulty, but to become free of reactions from the past, free of bondages, free of limitations, free of hatred, free of envy, free of anger. So, you get free of those things by facing them and by overcoming them. And coming back to the story of my friend, I remember that at one point, the doctors, everyone was absolutely convinced that she just had a week to live. And she was already in the hospital, was in the bed, couldn't move. And, we had been talking before she ended up in the hospital, and she'd been around me and other meditation teachers for years, but she'd always felt shy to actually learn meditation. She felt that she wasn't a pure enough person, that she'd been a bad person in the past, and that she'd been, she'd had problems with alcohol and other types of really big obstacles in her life. And anyway, she finally did learn meditation. She was already sick with cancer. We knew she was sick with cancer. But she started having very special, blissful experiences. And I actually got the feeling then when she got really ill, that she's still, she was on this path and she was making progress. And when we arranged, just as a sort of there was nothing to lose thing, we arranged for her to get some treatment, Ayurvedic treatment, and supported her through that. And she actually got better. She got a lot better. She lived for another 8 years after that. And yet at the same time, she went through so many different varieties of suffering. I couldn't believe that there's so many different varieties of suffering that can happen, all kinds of symptoms and things that would come up. And she'd go through them and she never complained. And she always would focus on others, actually. That was her secret of keeping her mind positive, was not to talk about, not to focus on her own suffering, but to try and help others around her. And she knew a bit of the yogic philosophy. And so when I would tell her like, oh, wow, I don't know what's happening and why you have to go through all of this, but it seems like you're just getting purified of lifetimes of who knows what. And by the time this lifetime's over, you're going to be so pure, so free. And that would just make her shine and smile. And she would be like, yeah, by the time I go to my next life, I'm going to just be completely free of everything. And so, it helped her to have a positive attitude. And this is the beauty, actually, of starting to understand that obstacles aren't just a punishment. They're actually helping forces that help to establish us in our spiritual goal. This is the philosophy of Tantra. Tantra is an approach, to life, to yoga, which is heroic, which is to kind of overcome obstacles, not to avoid them, not to complain about them, but to embrace them ultimately. And she was doing that. And so, when she reached that moment, I was just so honored to be by her side, because I felt it was such a powerful moment, as she was leaving behind these bondages and taking that last step to go fully into that supreme consciousness, that supreme light. And I felt the moment she left, her face was just so relaxed and radiant and free after so much suffering. And so even though, her friends were saying, why does this happen to her? Well, I felt like, God doesn't make exceptions. No, it's not like somebody's going to die and somebody's not going to die. We all have pretty much the same destiny ahead of us. We choose to, not look at it, but it's there. In these cases, though, it's like, I felt that she got those extra 8 years she might have actually had that destiny to die that week. But she got those extra years, not as some type of favoritism, but just she was making spiritual progress. And so it's, easier to like keep going rather than to have to start all over from scratch. New body, new life, and all of this, go through teenage years again. And so I felt like, it's just my own interpretation, of course, but I felt like she got some extra time to be able to really make as much progress as she could in that lifetime, in that body, and to free herself from as much of those negative things as possible that were still from maybe past life samskara, past life karmas that she was burning up. So it's very mysterious. We don't actually know. We don't know. Maybe in this lifetime we've only done good deeds, so it doesn't appear that we deserve anything happening. But the root can be much deeper, might not be in this lifetime. There is a justice in this universe, and it's not about punishment, it's about freedom. I feel it's like you have to sometimes experience both sides of a dynamic in order to become fully free of it. If you'd harmed someone in the past and hurt them, maybe you have to experience that same type of suffering so that you can become free of it and dedicated to never letting anybody be hurt that way again. I think this is how it works. And so obstacles aren't punishments. They help us. They help us to become more free. And yeah, it's nice when we get those surprises of grace. It's amazing how quickly our gratitude disappears, though. Something miraculous, something beautiful, something rewarding happens, and it's like our mind is like a hot frying pan, and you throw a little drop of water on it, it sizzles and evaporates right away. So it's good also to practice gratitude. When good things happen, to be very grateful for, and to look at the positive, to look at what's going well in our lives. And then when we have to face obstacles, to see it as a teaching. Because if we're able to cultivate this attitude, we will be 100% positive. Because no matter what life brings to us, we will be able to find a way to help us to grow stronger, to develop courage, to develop more compassion, so many qualities. And so then really our minds can become 100% positive. Now, I was giving this talk recently and somebody brought up a really good question, and they said, so if somebody's suffering, should we tell them that it's because of their past? I think this is a very good question, and it's very delicate and sensitive. It's it depends. If the person already has this philosophy and it's part of their understanding of the world, it can actually be encouraging for them. When I was in my training, I went through a period where it just felt like nobody loved me. Everybody was against me. I was doing everything, getting criticized for everything. I just was feeling really down. And I met this one friend, and she said to me, you should think that you're getting off easy. Who knows what we have to, what we had in store. And that really helped me. It helped me to kind of digest it, to deal with it, to think, yeah, okay, maybe this is just, I'm even being blessed with a way that I can digest, with a way that is easy for me to process what I have stored up. And like with my friend who had to go through so much suffering over a longer period of time, sometimes the grace is working just by spreading things out in such a manner that you're able to somehow tolerate it, and it still is helping you to grow. So trusting that you're not being abandoned or alone, that these things, maybe you're getting off easy. So for me, that helped. But with her friends who did not share this philosophy, it was not the time to give them some philosophical lecture about action, reaction, past lives, things like this. It's not appropriate. In that moment, you're being given the opportunity. I felt I was being given the opportunity to simply be present for this person, to be able to offer her my full attention, to offer her neighbors my full attention, my full presence, and to just be compassionate, to be together with them in their pain and their suffering, and to offer that energy of as much as I could, to try and allow that divine energy of unconditional love of the universe, not just to flow through you, and to comfort them. So it's about doing the right thing at the right time with the right person and just listening to your heart, because that will guide you always. And through this, I hope that you will also be able to develop 100% positivity, no matter what life brings to you, to be able to find a way to not feel sorry for yourself or think, why only me, and victimize ourselves, but to find our power, to find our strength, to find our resiliency by focusing on what this opportunity offers me to learn and to grow. And so I invite you to share your own experiences and comments. I'm really interested to hear what you also think about this. Brings up a lot of questions sometimes. And to follow our channel, etc. Thank you so much. Namaskar.